Rods have been out just over 2 hours and I've got my first run from Trent View. Let's take a look at it. After hitting into a slimy catfish, actually the first carp now out to Trent View. This is my 5th session. It's an absolute beauty, to be honest. 24 pound 8 ounce. Middle rod again, same rod as I had the catfish on. So yeah, well chuffed. Getting to know the venue, that helps. So yeah, lovely. 24 pound 8. I think I'll give this one a kiss. And there we go, 24 pound 8. No blanking for me at Trent View this time. Got the baby set up. I'm set up in peg 5. What time did I get here and what day is it? It's Monday the 20th of May. Got up at 4:30 this morning so as I can get all of the tackle loaded in the car and get here at Nottingham for 7 o'clock. I arrived just outside the fishery gates at about 7:15. Wasn't long before Ian came down and let me in. After a good 15 to 20 minute chat with Ian, we were discussing which pegs had been fishing and where the carp had been coming out from. He told me that the shallows had been fishing well, so that's why I've come down into peg 5. But I've always got my eye on Facebook, so I had a good idea which part of the lake I'd be fishing in. It's spring and the warmer weather has finally arrived, and it won't be long before the carp are spawning. I mentioned the word spawning there. Yes, the carp are very close to spawning, but it's very unlikely that all of the carp in Trent View, that's all 2,000 of them, are going to start spawning at the same time. And besides, different strains of carp can spawn at different times of the year. They don't just spawn once, it can be several times. But if I did see the carp spawning, I would do the right thing and stop fishing for them, go fish down another end of the lake. Waiting for the train going past. It's a big long train in that one. Just keeps going and 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 going. It's gone. Okay. Right, I was just having a chat to a guy called Will, who's fishing out with his dog, Bruce, and he's in the next peg. And he just also happens to live in Stoke, you know, so we were talking about Stokey stuff and this, that and the other. He literally just left his peg. I've come into the bivvy for put the kettle on and had another run. So let's take a look at it. I'm not sure what time it is, but apparently it's carp o'clock. Taken on the middle rod, another stunning, good looking TV carp. Well impressed with the standard of them. Really clean, dark in colour as well. What a banger. Turning out to be a good session. I've recast all 3 rods before it goes dark. I'm fishing at 13.5 wraps on the left, 14.5 wraps on the middle and 13.5 wraps on the right. It is quite weedy in front of me at the moment, but I did manage to find the clear spots. 10 and the carp are boshing out everywhere. Boshing here and boshing there. I've got myself a brew. I'm going to sit and wait and see what happens. Give it a couple of hours at least. Then I'm going to get my head down for the night so as I can start again bright and early in the morning. Carp are still crashing out, but it is getting late and Truffle's snoring. I think I'm going to join her. Tuesday morning, I got up at about 5:30. I've been watching the water for quite a while. The carp are still showing, but I didn't get any bites through the night. Okay, the rain's dried up, so what's my approach for today? Well, I've seen a lot of carp cruising around on the surface. I've put a zig out and it's a foot just under the surface and fishing in probably about 5 foot of water. So the zig is fishing at about 4 foot. See what happens on that one. And on the middle rod and the right rod, I'm sticking to the tactics. That's the solid PVA bags. As I mentioned before, I do spend a lot of time looking at Trent View catch reports on Facebook, and yes, a lot of the carp at Trent View do get caught on these red sea squid wafters. So I popped up to the shop and got myself a tub. And that's what's going inside the solid PVA bag. While I was in there, I picked up a bag of the RG Baits Red Sea Squid Boilies in 15mm and a bag of the Trent View house pallets. Shout out to Mal, he is a subscriber and regular follower to the channel. Now Mal asked me this question: could you do a video about bobbins, what the actual purpose of them is and why you have them weighted differently or set at different lengths? I'm a bit confused with it. Cheers. So the answer to your question, yes I can. Let's take a look at how them are set up. When I'm fishing under the rod tip or in the near side margin, I'd have a very slack line and a very low hanging bobbin with no additional weight. This is how I set it up if I'm fishing between 10 and 15 wraps. A semi-slack line with 1 additional weight added to the bobbin. If you get a drop back, this is enough weight to give you good indication. When I'm fishing over 15 wraps, fishing on a tight line, I'll add 3 weights to the bobbin. Then when you get any dropbacks, it gives really good indication. The basic rule of thumb: the further out you fish, the more weight you need on your bobbin. 15 pound 8, taken on the right hand side rod this time, but with the same tactics. Solid PVA bag with a red sea squid wafter. Do me the business. Been a little bit slow today, but nice to have another one on the bank. Proper scaly linear line too. Very nice. Can't really give you any top tips about fishing Trent View because, to be honest with you, I'm a bit of a novice at fishing Trent View and I'm finding my way as I go along. But one tip I can give you: when you're having a cast around with your marker float, I find if you look at the trees on the far margin and find the highest points or the lowest points in the far margin tree line, these have usually been used as markers at night time. Obviously the trees give out a lovely silhouette and you can see the shapes in them pretty clear, and it's quite often that's what a lot of carp anglers do, so it makes it easier to find your spots next time. And that'd be one of the only tips I can give you at the moment. While I'm waiting for the rod to go off, I've had a ham salad with 2 boiled eggs for dinner, and I've made myself a nice fresh cup of tea. And Truffles woke up, so I've decided to give her a real big fuss because that's what she loves when she's out fishing with me. And besides, I've mentioned before, she's really good company. While I've been fussing Truffle, I've noticed that the carp had moved out of my swim and over to the right. Will's fishing in the peg to my right. Shortly after the carp moved in front of him, he had 2 commons, the first one being 18 pound and the second 18 pound 8 ounce. Do you ever just look in the mirror and sometimes say to yourself, man, I am getting old? And yeah, I am getting old, which brings me to my next talking point. I have got so many fishing sessions from the past where I didn't do any videoing, but I have lots of photos of the carp that I caught, and I'd be dead happy to tell you a storyboard version of Bedtime Stories Carp Adventures, bedtime stories literally with Lee, and I can show you some of the pictures of the carp that I caught, and I can talk to you about how I caught him, what was happening at the time, where I was fishing and how long ago that was. If you want to see something like that, please comment down below and I'd be happy to put some content like that together. Anyway, that being said, I'm really happy that I caught a couple of carp yesterday and I've had another one today. So chuffed with how it's worked out, but Truffle's snoring and I'm going to get my head down for a few hours and maybe I'll get woken up by one of them rods going off. 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. No action for me on the rods, but Will has still got them in front of him, landing this one at £15, followed by another cracker at £21 bang on. The carp are definitely moving around, and my right rod's here, right next to Will's left rod. Can I get another run? Well, that never happened, so I made my way back to sunny Stoke-on-Trent. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.